Hello, hello. Good morning. So, yesterday we talked about practices, daily practices, and that it was really cool. Like a lot of people got back to us. A lot of people like that, and it kind of stirred some things with folks on some of the groups that I share this with, so I wanted to go a little deeper into daily practices, and I'm thinking just I didn't do any research really. Just off the top of my head, I thought of of different authors, different teachers in my life who have recommended daily practices, and just to go back some. Um, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Marcus Aurelius, which, he certainly had daily practices that he spoke of, the Gnostic teacher, Gnostic teachings of Marcus Aurelius. I understand, I don't know that much about, this fella, but, he was I think, a Greek philosopher, if I understand correctly. So it might have been Roman anyway. One of the two, but quite well liked and well read in modern time. My sons, maybe both of them, brought this to me years ago. So it's his writings, and of course Napoleon Hill, who was a great researcher, really a great researcher in the 30s, 20s and 30s, and published a number of writings, but one that became sort of a cornerstone of modern day self-help, if you will, which was Think and Grow Rich. And rich, of course, being whatever you deemed that to be. Was really clear in his writings that rich didn't necessarily mean financial. But beautiful writing, and lots of suggestions for daily practices in his almost textbook, really. And of course, Bill Wilson and the crew who wrote Alcoholics Anonymous, the what we call the Big Book. Uh, Tons of daily practices, and in modern day, I thought of several: Brene Brown, Tim Ferris. I know it's there's lots of writings, and I'm trying to think of the lady's name who does the work. It's called The Work. It's gone right out of my mind. She's married to Michael Singer, and she's amazing with daily practices, and so what do you do? Is my question. What do you do daily to keep yourself from falling down the hole of fear and self-pity and guilt and shame, and the story of yourself, which is such can be kind of seductive, and the story of I'm not good enough, or those kind of things. And what do you do? Is it affirmations? Is it, I mean, lots of things can keep us kind of on a level playing field. And I think that being on a bit of a level playing field can be that from there we can truly surrender at a different level. You know what I mean? And um, because I don't, I personally, my experience personally, uh, is that yes, daily practices have helped, no question, have helped, and but the awakening was something much different, and it didn't require daily practices. It was, you know, I and then I don't know if that's true. I mean, like right now, one of my daily practices, of course, I'm very active in the 12-step world, and I'm working with guys, and that's a daily thing that I do. And I do prayer every day, which is simple prayers, really simple prayers. My prayers are just like, you know. and not that they're to anybody or anything, because I understand now. I realize that you know it isn't separate, but there's I don't entirely understand the workings of the ego, and I guess it doesn't matter, you know. But prayer lifts me out of, and keeps me, you know. And my prayers are like, "Thy will be done, Thy will be done. Thank you, thank you, thank you." You know, they are lifting, uplifting, and in the uplifting, I'm closer to, I don't know if it's the right word. It's so hard to speak about. Um, but daily practices, you guys. So what do you do? Talk to me about that. That's the deal. And you know, and this, I think for those of us who are, you know, really consciously aware that we can't run the show from ego, that it just hasn't worked. It's not satisfying. We might become wealthy. We might become, you know, we might have the, you know, the picture perfect relationship. We may have a beautiful home in the suburbs. We might have a lot of things, but there's something missing when we're running it from the intellect and from ego. And so that's daily practices. I'm interested in what yours are, and you know, um, mine. One of the things I do is I spend quite a bit of time with uplifting teachers. I recognize that I need to be lifted up by others. So I help people, of course, by, you know, help. I don't know if the words help, but I'm there for folks who are finding their way, and I'm also I listened to, like this morning, I listened to probably 2 hours when I woke up at 7 o'clock of Muji. Now I'm not just sitting there listening. I'm kind of drifting in and out of sleep, and I'm you know, a bit of a meditative space, and because I find that he is quite high vibration. But sometimes I listen to other stuff. But yeah, anyway, um, that's my thing today. Pretty short. Uh, just what do you got that's going on that's that you would call sorry about that, bang you around, daily practices. And one of them is this reading I do every day. And I had somebody say the other day that yesterday that, David, you're my daily practice. Well, thank you. You know, and that's what I guess I wanted to be here to do this so that you know, we all get lifted up, right? And hi, Jason. Thank you, buddy. Love you. And you know, so yeah, daily practices. What do you do, Jason? What are your daily practices? You know, um, I'd love to hear, and that are really, you know, kind of religious in a way. I don't mean that part of a religion, but religiosity, religious is like things that you actually do on a daily basis. What I'd love to hear from as many of you as possible. What do you do? And your answer, of course, you know, will be seen by others, and it kind of shares, and it could be a book, couldn't it? Daily practices. It literally could be a book. Beautiful. February 2nd. Here we go, the reading. February 2nd. We got a kick out of the first few drinks before we got stupefied by alcohol. He's writing often uh, about drinking. It seems like in the early part of this reading, I know, because we started in May and we went all the way through, you know, when we were in like September, October, November, we were more in the recovery steps, you know. It was more in the, Jason says, prayer, prayer, prayer. Yes. All right, daily practices. Could be a book. I see a book there. It could, you know, researching and digging into daily practices. Beautiful. Okay. For a while, the world seemed to look brighter when we drank. But how about the letdown, the terrible depression that comes with the morning after? In the 12-step world in AA, we got a real kick, not a false feeling of exhilaration, but a real feeling of satisfaction with ourselves and self respect. Satisfaction with ourselves and self respect. And a feeling of friendliness towards the world. We got a sort of pleasure. We got a sort of pleasure from drinking. For a while, we thought we were happy, but it's only an illusion. He's talking about the early days, baby. The hangover the next day is the opposite of pleasure. In AA, am I getting real pleasure and serenity and peace? Yes. And I guess what I would call it is the spiritual path. That's what we're talking about here, is the spiritual path. And you know, and nobody is interested, or I don't think, in the spiritual path unless you've had enough of the other way of living. Unless you've I'm blessed to know a lot of people who've had enough. Meditation for the day. In this little book I read every day, 24 hours a day book, written in 1954. It's beautiful. I will practice love, it says, because lack of love will block the way. Yes. I will try to see good in all people, those I like and also those who fret me and go against the grain. They are all children of God. I will try to give love. Otherwise, how can I dwell on God's Spirit, whence nothing unloving can come? Let me try that again. I'm going to start right from the beginning. Somehow I got a little lost. Here we go. Meditation for the day. I will practice love, because lack of love will block the way. I'll try to see good in all people, those I like and also those who fret me and go against the grain. So those he likes and those he doesn't like. He's going to see love in them all, see good in them all. They are all children of God. I will try to give love. Otherwise, how can I dwell in God's Spirit, whence nothing unloving can come? I'll try to get along with all people, because the more love I give away, the more I will have. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may do all that I can to love my fellow man. In spite of their many faults, I pray that I love, so will I be loved. I pray that as I love, so I will be loved. Beautiful. Okay. So a little tip for the day. Love, love, love. Right? Be the love. You are the love. Got my little laptop, which I use every morning, kind of sitting on a different stand that I've never used before. And it seems to be working. Tech, not very. Okay, we're going to meditate for a few minutes. Would you like to join us? And yeah, just drop in. And daily practices, guys. Think about it. This is one of them. This can be one of them. Is a short meditation every day. And I've kind of stopped calling it meditation, actually, because for a lot of the crowd that I'm in a way dealing with, or not dealing with, but that I feel is kind of like the folks that come to listen, that the idea of meditation for a lot of people is a bit scary. They're like, oh, I don't know how to meditate. I'm not a very good meditator. I can't get my mind to stop. Meditation's for like Buddhist people. I'm not a Buddhist. That kind of stuff. I've heard all of that. And so let's imagine that we're going to just sit. Let's just sit. Find yourself a comfortable spot and just sit. And ego will say no. Ego will say, I don't want to do that. But know that in the list of daily practices of just about all the teachers on the planet, sitting or meditating is a part of the process. So you could sidestep it for a while, but eventually, if we're going to have, real peace If we're going to find real joy, if we're going to find real serenity, we need to sit and contemplate. And I call that meditation or just sitting, but let's just do it. So close your eyes. Find a comfortable spot. Take a breath in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Just be here gently. Be here gently. Oh, okay. Just sit and know that the mind is often going to be busy mind. The trick is to just gently, very gently, not pay attention to it. Just gently let it go. Thoughts come up. Just let them go. Right? Yes. Gently let them go. When thoughts come, just come back to the breath. Recognize that we're not our thoughts. We are separate. We are not our thoughts. Thoughts just seem to come randomly from God knows where. And just let them go. Just let them go. Yes, we're not our thoughts. Beautiful. Back to the breath. Okay, just come back when you're ready. Thank you. Mm, beautiful. Wow. So think of that as sitting quietly, just in contemplation. Call it meditation if you like, but quietly sitting in contemplation. And yeah, daily practices again. I just thought we'd go over it again today. We started yesterday, and I listed some authors. If you have some ideas, some thoughts, who do you think is really got some great daily practices? Some suggestions, some ideas of your own. I'd love to hear them. Also, love it if you'd go to YouTube, or if you see this on YouTube, you'd subscribe. Thanks, you guys. Love you so much, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.